Okay, so you ready for this? This deep dive is going to be pretty crazy. We're going to unpack a case that initially seemed like totally straightforward,
Oh.
you know,
Yeah.
but it took like a sharp turn into like a really dark and just twisted plot.
Yeah.
We're talking about a murder in Texas fueled by a custody battle gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a story that kind of reminds us how quickly things can spiral out of control, you know,
Right.
when emotions run high and like personal conflicts get really bad.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this case to me is like how it shows how eyewitness testimony can be wrong and how far people will go to change how things look.
Yeah,
It's like a wake-up call that getting justice isn't always easy.
exactly. The story starts with Alyssa Barquette.
Okay.
She was a young woman who was brutally murdered in broad daylight.
Wow.
They found her in the parking lot at her workplace.
Oh my gosh.
She had been stabbed multiple times,
Oh no.
like a lot of times.
How many?
44 to be exact.
44.
Yeah. And this wasn't just some random act of violence, you know.
Neither.
The brutality of it all makes you think it was something way worse.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of violence in this case definitely points to a deeper motive, you know?
Yeah.
Like something more personal. It goes beyond just like simple anger.
Right.
I mean, 44 stab wounds, that shows a ton of rage and probably even a desire to make her suffer.
Wow.
And that's something we often see in cases where the killer has a deep resentment towards the victim or they have a need to control them.
Yeah, that makes sense. So at first, the witnesses said the attacker was a black man,
Okay.
and that led the police in one direction.
Mm-hmm.
But Alyssa's mother, Teresa, she had this gut feeling that something wasn't adding up.
Oh, really?
She immediately thought of Andrew Beard. He was Alyssa's ex and the father of their one-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And they were already in a pretty heated custody battle, and Teresa knew that Andrew could be volatile.
Yeah, I mean, that's a key point you're making. Custody battles can be super volatile situations.
Right.
They bring up all these really strong emotions, like fear of losing your kid, anger because you feel like things aren't fair, and just this need to control everything.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but sometimes those emotions can lead to violence.
Right.
Which makes this whole case really scary.
Yeah, for sure. So the police, they start looking into Andrew Wright.
Right.
And that's when things take a crazy turn.
Very.
They find his truck, and what's inside is like something out of a movie.
No way.
Yeah, it's wild.
So finding that truck, that was huge for the investigation.
Yeah.
It gave them real evidence, you know? And it shifted the focus from this whole idea of maybe they had the wrong guy
Yeah.
to like, whoa, this was planned out really carefully.
So what did they actually find in the truck?
Okay, so first they found this vial of foundation makeup.
Okay.
But get the shade was Java.
Java.
Yeah, way darker than Andrew's actual skin tone.
Hold on. Are you saying he was trying to make it look like he was a black man?
It sure seems like it, yeah.
That's insane.
And then to make it even more convincing, they also found a fake beard in the truck.
A fake beard.
Yeah, it looked like it was from a Halloween costume or something.
Okay, so he was going all out with this transformation.
Yeah.
But why even do all that? Why not just wear a mask or something?
That's what makes this case so interesting from a psychological point of view.
Yeah.
By disguising himself as a black man, he was trying to avoid getting caught, obviously, but he was also probably trying to mess with the investigation.
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
He was using those societal biases, hoping the police would go after the wrong person.
Exactly. And sadly, there's a long history of racial bias affecting how criminal investigations go.
Right.
By using those biases, Andrew was creating a distraction.
Yeah.
He wanted to make people doubt that he did it.
It's a scary reminder of how strong these biases can be and how they can be used for bad reasons.
Mm.
Don't fall. Oh, that's perfect, dude. You're gonna love it. Kinda locks the road. All right.
What would make someone kill the mother of their own child?
That's the question that investigators and psychologists always struggle with in these cases. Custody battles, like we talked about, they can bring up really intense feelings.
Yeah.
Loss, betrayal, and this desperate need to be in control. In Andrew's case, he might have seen Alyssa as standing in his way of getting full custody of their daughter.
So it wasn't just about being angry or getting revenge.
No.
He wanted to have complete control over the situation,
Right.
even if it meant hurting her.
Exactly. It's a sad example of how wanting control so much can make someone lose touch with reality
Yeah.
and do something terrible.
I mean, it's crazy to think that someone would go to all that trouble.
Yeah.
Like come up with this whole big plan just to trick the system.
Yeah, and that's what's so messed up about it.
Yeah.
The planning, the disguise, the way he tried to use people's biases, it's all so cold and calculated, it's hard to wrap your head around it.
It really is. It feels like something out of a movie, not real life.
Yeah.
So what happened then? Did they arrest Andrew?
Yeah, they did. They arrested him and charged him with Alyssa's murder.
Okay.
And they had a lot of evidence against him.
Right.
The blood in his car, the custody battle, it all pointed to him.
I bet that trial was really hard on Alyssa's family.
Yeah, trials like that are always tough for the people who love the victim. They have to go through all that pain again. They see the person who's accused, and they try to understand something that doesn't make sense.
It's so sad to think about Alyssa's family and friends going through that, especially her daughter.
Right.
She'll grow up without her mom. It's just heartbreaking.
It really is. It's a tragedy in so many ways.
Yeah.
And it shows how much damage domestic violence can do.
Right.
It's not just the physical harm. It's the way it ruins people's lives, the emotional scars, the pain that never goes away. It affects everyone.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening, but it's also been tough to hear about. I think it's important to take a step back for a minute
Yeah, I agree.
and think about what we can learn from all this.
You're right. We gotta look past the shock of it all and find some meaning in this awful situation. For me, this case really shows how important it is to see the warning signs of domestic violence early on and to step in before it's too late. It also makes it clear that we have to deal with the biases in our system that can make it hard to get justice, especially for people from marginalized communities.
Those are really important points. I hope this deep dive has made everyone listening think about how complicated domestic violence is
Yeah.
and how serious the consequences can be.
There was a question here.
This deep dive has been a tough reminder of some of the dark things happening in the world,
It has.
but it's also a call to action. We should all try to learn more about domestic violence, support the people who've been through it, and challenge the systems that allow this abuse to keep happening. Thanks for being here with us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another exploration of something interesting.